local, late breaking. This is 4029 News at 4.
Thanks for watching 4029 News at 4. I'm Lakyra Banks.
And I'm Brandon Evans. We begin with 4 things to know.
First, people across the state are recovering from deadly tornadoes. Governor Sarah Sanders says she's already taking steps to make sure they get the help they need.
President Trump is in a legal battle. This weekend, his administration deported people accused of being immigrant gang members. ABC News reports the administration chose to ignore a federal judge's directive to turn the planes around.
The president also held his first board meeting at the Kennedy Center. The White House says he wants to restore arts and culture. Now that meeting came after he fired some of the board members last month and made himself chairman.
New retail sales showing consumers they're still spending, but at a lower rate than experts expected. So the Commerce Department says sales up 2% for the month of February.
And we are taking a live look outside now. It is an impact day as officials monitor a wildfire threat across our state. The Arkansas Department of Agriculture lists all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley as being in high wildfire danger. And right now, burn bans are in effect across much of our area. Let's get a check of our forecast with Chief Meteorologist Darby Bybee.
All right, Darby, a bit breezy today, low humidity, so talk about that fire risk.
And we do have fire weather warnings through 10 p.m. They may issue new ones tomorrow. I don't know, we'll see. The humidity is a little higher tomorrow, but the winds will also be stronger, so not sure if that offsets it. But we've got these fire weather warnings in Northwest Arkansas, parts of the River Valley through this evening. We're concerned about tomorrow, too, because the winds actually get a little stronger tomorrow. We're looking at kind of 30 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts across NWA and the River Valley tomorrow. Humidity comes up a little bit, but again, I don't know how much that really helps with the winds also increasing, temperatures going up a little bit. Very windy tomorrow night into Wednesday morning ahead of a front that then behind that front cools us off into Wednesday, but we still have those winds. So the fire risk is still there the next couple of days. We're not really going to get a whole lot of rain for us anytime soon. Those southwest winds nice and helpful out there right now in the 70s. Will be even warmer tomorrow. Really a great night for us. This is a look from Lowell right here, looking off to the north along I-49. Great weather this evening, waking up upper 50s tomorrow morning. Doesn't cool off a lot. It will be in the upper 70s, mid-upper 70s tomorrow afternoon. So looking pretty good. For us in the River Valley, our temperatures kind of dropping as we go throughout the evening slowly as well. So really a great evening, great start to our day, and highs back up around 80 tomorrow afternoon. A lot of sunshine. We do have that front coming in, and that's going to bring in much colder air for Wednesday, Brandon. We're going to talk more about that coming up.
Stay up to date on changing weather conditions. Download the free 4029 News app.
Well, dangerous and deadly storms moved through Arkansas this weekend. Officials say 3 people are dead statewide. What you're seeing right now is damage in Cave City and Izard County, Arkansas. Governor Sarah Sanders responding to that disaster.
Yeah, she says she's already taking steps to help Arkansans recover.
I've also spoken with President Trump and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, and will continue to work with our federal partners to help in those relief efforts. This is not going to be a quick recovery. It will take time.
And Governor Sanders says she declared a state of emergency and deployed state police as well as Arkansas National Guard members to assist. Now, this comes as people in a handful of Arkansas counties are dealing with significant storm damage.
Brian Koleski with the ABC station in Jonesboro reports after storms ripped through the area of Ash Flat in Sharp County.
I first saw the damage. It was devastating.
We were home the night of the storm, riding it out. Felt a little different about this one. I'm not too concerned of storms, but this one just felt a little bit different.
Widespread damage across Sharp County on Highway 167 to 354, Liberty Hill Road in Highland, and even to places like Williford. Maureen Fortuna said she and her family weren't home when the tornado hit.
It was my granddaughter's birthday, so I went up to her house in Arnold, Missouri. Thank you, Jesus. But my niece and her family was supposed to be here this weekend, and they didn't come either, so.
We fared it well. We're healthy. We're blessed. No injuries, nothing but material losses that can be replaced.
Power crews, emergency agencies, and the National Guard are in Sharp County to help as these residents try to clean up and figure a way to rebuild. Both Fortuna and Marty Sellers said it's amazing to see the response from family and other people in the community.
I've got crews here now, volunteered, friends and friends of the family from Monticello, from Little Rock, from local folks, from our church. Just the outpouring is it's a blessing.
It's amazing what the county is doing to help me.
But they are relieved to know that their families are safe.
And it's what we do. It's what we do in Sharp County. It's what we do in rural Arkansas. We take care of each other in time of need.
It's devastating, but if you're still alive, it's just stuff. It can all be replaced someday, so I'm not worried about it.
And that was Brian Koleski reporting. And Sheepdog Impact Assistance has a team on the ground right now in Rolla, Missouri, where an EF2 tornado devastated the area last Friday.
15 volunteers deployed this morning with a trailer full, stocked with chainsaws, first aid items. So a week-long mission is going to assist local authorities as well as others as part of cleanup and rebuilding initiatives. Key tasks are going to include debris removal, tarping roofs. Several homes sustained significant damage. Trees were uprooted all along the tornado's path.
There's always a place for everyone to help, whether you can go on the disaster response mission or you can donate.
And for those who want to help, go to sheepdogia.org. You can also find them on Facebook and X. Well, today, Governor Sarah Sanders announced that she says they're going to target violent criminals who are in Arkansas illegally.
So Senate Bill 426 would create what is being called the Defense Against Criminal Illegals Act. The bill would create longer prison sentences for people here illegally who are convicted or plead guilty to some violent felonies.
It would also expand Arkansas's ban on sanctuary cities to counties and towns. Plus, it would require Arkansas sheriffs to join a program that would let local law enforcement serve federal arrest warrants on immigration.
We'll hear from the governor and the bill sponsor coming up at 5, and you can read the bill for yourself on our website, 4029tv.com.
All right, let's go to D.C. take a live look at our nation's capital. President Trump in a legal battle over his weekend deportation of people accused of being immigrant gang members. ABC News reports the administration chose to ignore a federal judge's directive to turn those planes around. Now, the president invoked the Alien Enemies Act from 1798 to deport those immigrants.
ABC's Perry Russell is in Washington with more.
A showdown between President Trump and the federal court over his deportation of hundreds of alleged immigrant gang members.
We removed terrorists. That should be a celebration. We removed terrorists from this country, and I stand by what the president did.
The Trump administration flying 2 planes carrying immigrants to El Salvador. This video shared by El Salvador's president shows alleged members of the Tren de Aragua gang arriving there over the weekend. The ACLU suing the Trump administration, leading to an emergency hearing on Saturday. Sources say the planes took off during the hearing before the judge ruled any plane containing these folks that is going to take off or is in the air needs to be returned to the United States.
We are not saying at this point that the government defied the court order, but we are saying there are serious reasons to potentially think that they did.
Sources tell ABC News the administration chose to ignore the judge's directive to turn the planes around. Trump asked whether his administration complied with the order.
I don't know. You have to speak to the lawyers about it.
Questions remain over the legality of Trump invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, last used during World War II.
In many respects, it's more dangerous than war because, in war they have uniforms. You know who you're shooting at. You know who you're going after. These are people that came out, they're walking our streets.
The ACLU says the act is intended to be used against a nation that has either declared war against the U.S. or has invaded the U.S., and the ACLU says that has not happened. The Trump administration says it did not violate the order. Perry Russell, ABC News, Washington.
We're watching Wall Street now. U.S. stocks climbed again today, following weeks of swings.
Yeah, the Dow had the biggest jump, actually gaining 353 points today. The NASDAQ Composite climbing 54 points, and the S&P 500 also in the green, finishing up 36.
And looking at our local stocks of interest, Walmart, Tyson, and J.B. Hunt each shared in what was generally a successful day on Wall Street. ArcBest and Dillard's continued today's green streak, but Murphy USA's value fell by $10 per share. And stay with us here on 4029 News. We have more news and weather coming your way. So when we come back, the investigation into the death of Gene Hackman and his wife continues. This as authorities share a new timeline of when his wife died. Plus, investigators have new details into the disappearance of a student missing in the Dominican Republic. After the break, officials are now questioning the suspect.
Let's take a live look outside on this impact day. Officials across the area monitoring the ongoing wildfire threat. Coming up, when that wind will die down and will any rain arrive? Darby has your 7-day forecast after the break. But before we go, a look ahead to tomorrow. 4029 meteorologist Melissa Hall has your bus stop forecast.
We are going to have overnight lows only get into the upper 50s. Put that in perspective, our daytime high should be in the low 60s. By lunchtime, those winds already gusting 40+ miles an hour, getting us into the low 70s across the area before an unseasonably warm afternoon with upper 70s and even a handful of 80s. This all changes as a cold front moves in. As we get into Wednesday, I'm going to have the details about that coming up on your Sunrise News starting at 4:30. I'll see you then.
The investigation into the death of Gene Hackman and his wife continues as authorities have a new timeline of when his wife died. Police say his wife Betsy called a medical service the morning she was previously thought to have died. Gene Hackman is believed to have died a week later of advanced heart disease with Alzheimer's complications. That timeline could now play a factor in the couple's wills.
Betsy passes away first, and then Gene, his will, in a sense, would become void because the individual he wanted his items to be passed to no longer exists in the eyes of the law. His estate and everything he left in his will would go to probate court, where individuals can argue that they should receive the benefits of Gene Hackman's will.
Gene left his $80 million estate to his wife and did not name his children. Now Betsy left her estate to charity.
And new details into the disappearance of an American student missing in the Dominican Republic. Now, according to a transcript obtained by ABC News, Joshua Ribe, who police believed was the last person to see Sudiksha Konanki. Officials now questioning that suspect.
ABC's Ariel Reshef has the details.
Overnight, ABC News speaking with Joshua Ribe, the 22-year-old from Iowa, who police say was believed to be the last known person to see Sudiksha Konanki. Ribe telling our team in Punta Cana, "I just hope to go back home." When we asked what happened to Konanki, he replied, "No comment," but added, "It's very sad." His lawyers say he's being held illegally in his hotel. He is not a suspect and is not facing any charges. But ABC News confirming authorities have confiscated his passport. Officials have said Ribe has cooperated from the beginning. His attorneys say Saturday he walked with prosecutors to the beach where Konanki is believed to have vanished. Police confirming these two images show her swim cover-up and sandals that were recovered on the beach. Police have said they believe Konanki drowned, but the painstaking search for answers presses on. Officials reviewing this new surveillance video captured the night before Konanki went missing on March 6th from inside the Riu Hotel nightclub, showing the 20-year-old and Ribe appearing to get sick. According to a transcript obtained by ABC News last week, Ribe told prosecutors he and Konanki met the night before she vanished, drinking with friends before staying at the beach, just the two of them, around 4 a.m. He allegedly said the two were kissing in the ocean when they were slammed by a large wave, and they both struggled in the rough surf. Sources familiar with the investigation say prosecutors are looking into possible contradictions in Ribe's story. He apparently told them, "I was holding her under my arm and swimming. It was hard. I was a pool lifeguard, not the ocean. Then, when I finally touched the sand, I put her in front of me. Then she got up to go get her stuff since the ocean had moved us." He added, "She was not out of the water since it was up to her knee. She was walking at an angle in the water." According to the transcript, Ribe going on to say, "I asked her if she was okay. I didn't hear a response because I began to vomit with all the water I had swallowed. After vomiting, I looked around and I didn't see anyone." He told prosecutors he passed out on the beach and awoke thinking Konanki had gone inside. Hotel cameras capturing him returning to his room that morning.
All right, back in our area, let's take a live look outside on this impact day. It looks nice, but it is quite breezy, dry as well. That is increasing the risk for wildfires all across our area. So let's take another look at your Get Ready weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Darby Bybee.
And Darby, it'll be chillier too by the middle of the week.
Yeah, we got a cold front coming in. We got a flip-flop day coming for Wednesday. Yeah. Well, Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with flip-flops. It's not a good thing. What it means is that our highs and lows flip-flop. So tomorrow's a normal day, where our lows in the morning, upper 50s, nice and mild, upper 70s tomorrow afternoon in northwest Arkansas. Then we flip-flop things, and so our low temperature will actually be in the afternoon, or at least one of our cooler temperatures will start off in the upper 50s again Wednesday morning and then drop in the upper 40s to around 50 by the afternoon in northwest Arkansas. That's the flip-flop. You can see on Thursday back to normal, waking up chilly Thursday morning. We do warm back up by Friday and Saturday, so our temperatures kind of moving around a little bit in the River Valley. Tomorrow's a normal day, though a little warmer than it was today. And then our temperatures don't really change much throughout the day in the River Valley, just hanging out in the 50s most of the day. And then we'll also warm up as we go toward Friday and Saturday. So, not bad temperature-wise. We've got a few systems moving through, small chance of a shower with that front, or just behind the front Wednesday afternoon, mainly just in NWA into Wednesday evening. Could be another afternoon shower Friday with the system coming in. Then Saturday night into Sunday, we're watching another one. And the one Saturday night into Sunday is kind of our next opportunity for maybe a little bit of severe weather. Not that we want any opportunities. We need the rain, but we don't want the severe weather. Now, the Storm Prediction Center, of course, showing right here, as you can see on the map, the greatest risk being kind of south central Arkansas and North Louisiana, a little bit of Oklahoma, Texas in there, a little bit of parts of NWA. We'll see what ends up happening here. The potential for severe weather Sunday's there, but still pretty far out. One way or the other, though, we got to get some rain. We got a little bit in northwest Arkansas last week with that system that came through Friday, but we need a lot more. We're running 40 to 60% kind of below average for the last month or so in the area, and obviously nothing nearby right now. Now, the next system that moves in tomorrow night, still off to our west, looks pretty good out there this evening in northwest Arkansas, or afternoon, I guess, still, isn't it? NWA and the River Valley, decent amount of sunshine. Dew points, we've got a southwest wind, so we should be bringing in more moisture to go into tomorrow, but dew points still pretty low in the 30s, so yeah, that fire risk definitely there for us through the evening hours. Temperatures in the 70s to around 80, so it'll stay mild tonight, still a little bit breezy, lows only dropping into the upper 50s, and then tomorrow, upper 70s to around 80 for us across the region. So a little warmer than it was today and a little windier as well. And stay windy into Wednesday as temperatures do plummet by the afternoon in the River Valley. But then, yeah, we warm up again by the start of the weekend into Saturday and Sunday. We'll see about that Saturday night into Sunday system. It may bring a risk of severe weather to the River Valley and may bring some to northwest Arkansas as well. That's pretty far out. We've got these little rain chances in there. We don't have any really good widespread rain chances, unfortunately, the next 7 days. And we can see our temperatures are kind of moving up and down a good bit right through the weekend. If you stay with us, we'll be right back after the break.
Well, you may have seen many people wearing green, for St. Patrick's Day, but the color also has a positive impact on our thinking.
Yeah, you're right. So studies show color green can trigger a sense of calmness, relaxation, along with impacting how we feel. Doctors say colors can also influence what we buy.
Because green has such a positive association and is often linked with health, manufacturers, advertisers use green as a way to signal that products may be healthier in nature.
Doctors also found, green can be tied to negative emotions like jealousy. And Starbucks facing a hefty judgment after a man was burned by hot tea. His lawyers say that he suffered permanent disfigurement.
Here's ABC's Allison Cossack.
Starbucks ordered to pay up. A California jury ordering the company to pay a delivery driver $50 million after hot tea spilled into his lap. Surveillance video from the drive-thru in Los Angeles shows a barista handing the man a drink carrier containing 3 teas, one seemingly unsecured. The cup then spilling. We freeze the video here. His lawyers say and groin and claim Starbucks had a flagrant disregard for customer safety.
$50 million for a third-degree burn, I was shocked at first. I thought to myself, why so large? But then when I looked at the actual injuries and also a way to try to kind of send a message to Starbucks.
It's reminiscent of a landmark judgment against McDonald's in 1994 when hot coffee spilled onto a woman's lap.
I screamed, not realizing I was burned that bad. I knew I was in terrible pain.
She suffered third-degree burns and won a nearly $3 million judgment, which was later reduced and settled out of court. As for the Starbucks case, the lawyer for the plaintiff says he agreed to settle for $30 million if Starbucks would apologize and change its policies to prevent such an incident from happening again. But he says Starbucks declined. In a statement, Starbucks said it sympathizes with the man, but we disagree with the jury's decision that we were at fault for this incident and believe the damages awarded to be excessive. In the McDonald's case, the plaintiffs argued McDonald's coffee at the time was significantly hotter than coffee at other restaurants. The New York Times reported McDonald's eventually lowered the temperature. As for Starbucks, it says it plans to appeal. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
President Trump holds his first board meeting at the Kennedy Center.
We're going to have more on the controversy surrounding his decision to appoint himself as chairman as he pushes for a, quote, golden age in arts and culture.
And we're taking a live look outside. 4029 meteorologist Melissa Hall has an early look at tomorrow morning's forecast in our next half hour.
29 News at 4.
We begin this half hour with a live look outside. It's an impact day as officials watch for a wildfire threat across our state. The Arkansas Department of Agriculture lists all of northwest Arkansas and the River Valley as being in high wildfire danger. Right now, burn bans are in effect across much of our area. And let's get a check of our forecast now. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Darby Bybee.
All right, Darby, with the breeze and the dry conditions, wildfire risks are increased.
Yeah, certainly today we have these red flag warnings or fire weather warnings from the National Weather Service, and you can see all of NWA in there. This goes through 10 p.m. They may issue new ones for tomorrow. We'll see. It gets warmer and windier tomorrow, but humidity drops a little bit. Here are those wind conditions. Today we were gusting between 25 and 35. Tomorrow between 30 and 40, even up to 45 in northwest Arkansas, 25 to 35 in the River Valley for the most part. Could get real windy tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning ahead of the next front. That front pushes through. It stays windy into Wednesday, but it's a northwest wind, so it's a chilly wind. Right now we got the southwest wind. That's the warm wind. Bumping those temperatures in the mid-70s in northwest Arkansas, around 80 in the River Valley. We'll get back in the mid to upper 70s in northwest Arkansas tomorrow after starting off nice and comfortable there in the morning. Upper 50s to around 60. And windy again tomorrow, actually windier than it was today, as we were just talking about. The River Valley, our temperatures start off in the mid-50s in the morning, get back up to around 80 in the afternoon, so not too different temperature-wise, but a little windier for us as well. So that fire risk still there the next couple days before the next front comes in. It will cool us off for Wednesday, Brandon. We'll talk more about that coming up.
All right, thanks, Darby. Well, parts of Arkansas are in cleanup mode after storms destroyed communities just a few hours to our east.
So 6 tornadoes hit the state of Arkansas last Friday night, according to the National Weather Service. That includes 2 EF4s. It's the first time that's happened since 1997. This is video from Izard County today where one of those EF4 tornadoes hit. The county judge says the tornado touched down and hit several parts of that county. There have been no deaths, but there were several injuries throughout that county, and we'll have more tonight at 5 and 6.
Well, take a look at this video from the AP. It shows an aerial view of damage in Cave City. Heavy destruction across the area. You see homes leveled there. Debris just thrown around by those high winds, and officials in Arkansas now confirming 3 deaths, more than 24 people hurt.
Macy Davis with the ABC affiliate in Jonesboro reports after a tornado hit the town of Paragould in northeast Arkansas.
You're in shock and it's like a bad dream, and the reality's starting to set in now, and it's like, now what do we do?
Paragould families continue going through their homes after a tornado moved through the neighborhoods off of Pruitt's Chapel Road. So many homes in the area left with roofs blown off and debris littering every room. Bruce Drope and his wife and daughter hid in the bathroom as the storm headed their way. They started watching the storm on their outdoor cameras.
And every time it would lighten, you could just see the wickedness in the sky. And my wife looked at me and said, "This is not good." And I said, "No, it's not." And then it hit.
This is the 3rd time Drope's home was hit by a tornado. The first time in Marmaduke in 2006, once last May, and now this one.
When it started building out around Lake Frierson, I thought, no way this is going to happen again. No way.
Just a neighborhood away Friday night, Johnny and Tammy Cole were watching the weather when they decided to take shelter.
We were right here in the closet.
The closet they sheltered in, the only area of the house untouched. They heard a pop as the skylight in their bathroom went out. Thinking that would be their only concern, they stepped out to see all the damage.
We opened the garage door and it was totally gone.
Yeah, and this is what we saw when we opened the door.
I could see the sky.
We're like, this is not good.
That is part of the fence.
Thankful to be alive, the Coles are grateful to everyone who helped them Saturday and the first responders' quick reaction.
Young lady drove through yesterday, offering water and hamburgers, and she was just a sweetheart.
And our local fireman knocked on the door, was here, seemed like within just a very few minutes after it happened.
Back in another neighborhood off Pruitt's Chapel, Drope is staying positive despite his hardships, also thankful that his family is safe.
You live right, you believe in God, you go to church, and you just keep getting punched in the face, and it's like you just got to keep up and get going. It's just a bump in the road, and you just rock on and navigate it.
Friends, family members, and volunteers continue stepping up to help Drope's family with cleanup. He said he's been blessed.
Somebody's always got it worse than you, so we'll be fine. God was watching over us.
Reporting in Paragould, Macy Davis, K8 News.
All right, let's take a live look from our nation's capital. President Trump ordered U.S. strikes on Houthi rebels in Yemen this weekend. ABC News reports a U.S. official confirmed the strikes hit dozens of targets. Officials in Yemen say more than 50 people died in the attacks. And National Security Advisor Mike Waltz didn't rule out the possibility of direct military action on Iran.
All options are always on the table with the president. But Iran needs to hear him loud and clear. It is completely unacceptable, and it will be stopped, the level of support that they've been providing the Houthis.
And President Trump says Iran's support for the Houthi rebels must end immediately. President Trump with his first board meeting at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. today, and it comes after he fired some of the board members last month and made himself chairman.
The White House says President Trump wants to restore arts and culture. Here's ABC's Perry Russum.
President Trump at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., his first board meeting after appointing himself chairman.
He hopes to restore arts and culture that embrace American tradition, don't disparage it, as we have unfortunately seen.
Last month, Trump fired some members of the Kennedy Center's Board of Trustees, including the chairman, who Trump says did not share their vision for a golden age in arts and culture. Trump later naming Fox News Channel host Laura Ingraham and Maria Bartiromo to the board. There has been backlash. Vice President J.D. Vance at the center last week, sipping his wine to a chorus of boos from the audience. Some of the center's consultants quit. Artists canceled shows, including a run of Hamilton planned for next year. The show's producer writing, "We have sadly seen decades of Kennedy Center neutrality be destroyed. The center was started in the spirit of bipartisanship, established by President Eisenhower, a Republican, who supported a bill written by Democrats wanting a national culture center. It was then named after President Kennedy, a Democrat, after his assassination. Kennedy led fundraising efforts for the center.
So we're going to spend a lot of effort, a lot of money on crime, and we're going to spend it on fixing up. We don't want graffitis on the beautiful white statuary marble.
President Trump has not had the best relationship with the Kennedy Center going all the way back to his first term. He would skip the Kennedy Center honors, the highest profile event for the center. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
New retail sales data shows that consumers are still spending, but at a lower rate than experts expected.
The Commerce Department says sales were up 2% for the month of February, and that's better than January's report, which showed nearly a 1% dip in sales. Analysts say some stores are seemingly feeling the effects of uncertainty brought by the president's trade war.
That in and of itself has a dampening effect on economic activity. It causes hesitation in making big investment decisions by firms. It causes hesitation by households to buy big ticket items.
And the Fed will decide whether or not to cut interest rates later this week. Experts expect rates will hold steady as inflation is still above the Fed's 2% target.
Tariffs on China could affect Americans' ability to get prescription drugs at lower prices. Healthcare experts and manufacturers told USA Today that the 20% tariffs on imported Chinese goods could shrink supply and some generic drugs could disappear from the market. China is one of the largest suppliers of the ingredients in generics, and generic drugs make up about 90% of the prescriptions filled in the U.S. Well, tariff threats and uncertainty are already hurting tequila companies.
So experts say the tariffs could drive a temporary slowdown in sales. One bartender says his company is waiting to see what happens with the potential tariffs.
The biggest impact that it would happen though would be on the other side of the border where they're the ones already making thin margins, and they're the ones that are struggling to kind of keep their small businesses together. Yeah, we're going to take a hit if the day comes that we take a hit.
Some businesses and consumers stockpiling tequila, which can only be made in Mexico.
Well, let's get a live look on this Impact Day. Officials across the area are monitoring the ongoing wildfire threat. Coming up, will we see any relief in the next 7 days? Darby has your answer after the break. But before we go, a look ahead to tomorrow.
4029 meteorologist Melissa Hall tells us what you can expect if you're out and about early in the morning.
It's going to be a much milder morning for you as you head out on your Tuesday. We're going to start off very comfy, upper 50s by 5 a.m. Those winds out of the south will already be gusting 20 to even 30 miles an hour. Official sunrise 7:22. We're going to see a little bit more cloud coverage than you did for your Monday, but a much milder morning with only getting into the upper 50s. We're going to have the very latest on a cold front moving in and changing things as we get into Wednesday coming up on your Sunrise News starting at
Time for a Get Ready traffic alert as we look at I-49 in Fayetteville, Weddington, looking good at this hour. Head a little north to Rogers, a little bit more volume, but no crashes to worry about, at least not right now. And finally, south to Fort Smith, where we are looking good as well. Let's turn now to a joyful reunion after a man lost at sea for nearly 100 days, finally rescued in the Pacific.
Yeah, here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
A Hollywood ending for a man lost at sea for more than 3 months. Peruvian fisherman Maximo Napa reunited with his brother after a 2-week fishing trip turned into a 95-day nightmare. Napa saying, "I ate roaches, birds, turtles. I didn't want to die because of my mother, and I have a 2-month-old granddaughter." On December 7th, he set off on a fishing trip from southern Peru, his boat stocked with 2 weeks' worth of food, but 10 days of stormy weather blew him off course. His family launching a search, but Peru's maritime patrols were unable to locate him. It was a fishing patrol from Ecuador that finally spotted him last week, nearly 700 miles off the coast, badly dehydrated and in critical condition. Napa saying, "God is beautiful. He protected me." He says he had gone the last 15 days without eating.
Oh, I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling a lot better than I was, I can tell you.
2 years ago, sailor Timothy Shattuck was rescued after being lost in the Pacific for more than 2 months with his dog Bella. He was found nearly 1,200 miles from land.
She's amazing. That dog is something else.
And back in 2014, an even more extreme case. A man was found washed up on Marshall Islands, saying he'd been lost at sea for 13 months. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Wow, amazing stories of survival there. Now, as for Napa, his family now plans to celebrate his birthday, which passed while he was missing.
Yeah, a little bit more to celebrate this year, I'd say. All right, let's talk about severe weather, though, slamming both the South and the Midwest. Millions of people dealing with everything from wildfires to tornadoes. The death toll now climbing after a 3-day tornado outbreak tore through multiple states this weekend. At least 40 people are dead due to both fires and tornadoes.
ABC's Irina Roy has the latest.
Tornadoes and wildfires leaving towns devastated across the South and Midwest.
Oh, it's here. It's here.
A twister caught on camera in Rolla, Missouri. A father and son watching from their car as it passed right by them. Across the state, at least a dozen people reported dead.
Oh my God.
You can see this tornado also barreling through the city of Tuckerman, Arkansas. The Drope family's home destroyed in the second tornado to hit their neighborhood in less than a year.
There's a silence that happens before a strong storm hits you. And I said out loud,
Oh no, it's not good.
In Alabama, things also turning deadly. Near Mobile, at least 3 people killed, including Anita Owen's mother.
You wouldn't think just a wind and tornadoes would do this much devastation.
An EF2 tornado with winds up to 120 miles per hour throwing this empty school bus onto the side of the Winterboro High School. The roof and many of the walls gone.
Oh, man. Oh, no.
And at least 3 people dead in Tylertown, Mississippi, a tornado shredding neighborhoods there. In Oklahoma, powerful winds fueling wildfires that have destroyed nearly 400 homes. ABC's Maria Villarreal is near the town of Norman.
You can see right behind me the damage that was done to this meadow. And now the same area of Oklahoma is facing another round of critical fire danger in the coming days. And the fire threat is still a big concern, with more than 50 million Americans on alert for fire weather conditions today across 12 states from Texas to the Dakotas. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
All right, let's take a live look outside in our area. It looks beautiful outside, right? This is near Winslow, but the conditions are dry. They're very windy, and that's increased the risk for wildfires all across our area. So let's get another look at your Get Ready Weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Darby Bybee.
All right, Darby. And so after that wind, kind of Wednesday, we're expecting a cool down.
Yeah, temperature's going to drop. It'll be a little bit chilly out there on Wednesday. That breeze still going. Let's talk about it right here. Tomorrow looks wonderful. A little bit breezy still. Fire threat maybe not as high as today because the humidity comes up a little bit, but the winds are going to be stronger. Temperature's a little bit warmer, so there's still some risk there. We get into Wednesday, and we start off the day near 60, but then throughout the day in northwest Arkansas, drop in the afternoon in the upper 40s to around 50. So, and with that wind, it's going to feel chilly there Thursday morning, but temperatures come right back up pretty quickly. Back in the 60s there by Friday and Saturday. In the River Valley, kind of the same thing, where we go from a nice warm day again tomorrow to temperatures in the 50s in the morning, and they stay in the 50s all day. That's why it looks like that right there. Chilly Thursday morning too, and then we kind of warm up as we get into Friday and Saturday. Our temperature's going to be kind of up and down the next 7. And for us in the River Valley and northwest Arkansas, we get some small rain chances. No good ones in there. A little chance, mainly just in NWA. Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, another spotty shower Friday afternoon, then Saturday night into Sunday, chances come back up, and that might be our next best chance for widespread showers and storms. Could come with the risk of severe weather. Storm Prediction Center already highlighting parts of our area to the south and east for that threat on Sunday. That's pretty far out. We don't know much about it just yet, but that's something we're watching. We need the rain regardless. We don't want the severe weather, but we need the rain. Last 30 days, most of us haven't gotten a whole lot. We're running a little bit below average for the last 30 days, though in parts of Benton County we got that rain last week. We're doing a little bit better. Now, across the middle of the country, obviously not a lot going on, so it's going to stay quiet around here throughout most of the night. This afternoon looks wonderful. Of course, northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, that sunshine. Those winds out of the south and west going to be bringing in more humidity as we go into tomorrow. But right now, we've got this really dry air mass, temperatures in the 70s to around 80. The wildfire risk kind of elevated through the evening hours, drops overnight, and then comes back a little bit tomorrow. Mild temperatures for us tonight, mid-upper 50s in the morning and upper 70s to around 80 tomorrow afternoon. So about as warm as today, if not a little bit warmer. And then, yeah, that big drop in temperatures for Wednesday. You can see in the River Valley going from afternoon temperatures tomorrow back in the low 80s to afternoon temperatures more in the upper 50s, mid and upper 50s on Wednesday. And then again, yeah, we warm back up as we were talking about. We get a few systems coming through with these small little chances of rain. Saturday night into Sunday is probably our next best chance in the River Valley, and maybe a little bit of a risk of severe weather with that system late in the weekend. And in northwest Arkansas, maybe a little bit of risk there for us as well. So we'll see how that all kind of plays out as it gets closer. We don't know much about it right now, but that chance is there Saturday night into Sunday if you've got weekend plans, something to keep in mind for now. And keep in mind that Wednesday weather, it is going to be breezy. It's going to be chilly.
Yeah, and as you're making your plans, be sure to stay up to date on the changing weather conditions with our free 4029 News app.
We also hope you'll join us this Wednesday night for a 4029 Sports Special, Hog Wild Road to the Championship. Our Hog Wild sports team gets you Razorback ready as Arkansas's men's basketball team heading to the NCAA tournament. It airs 6:30 right here on 4029. I want you to stay with us on 4029 News at 5.
Yeah, several strong storms bringing tornadoes to the natural state. Just ahead at 5, we're getting a better look at the total destruction left in the weekend wake.
Plus, it seems like we can never catch a break when it comes to prices at the grocery store. And tonight, we're going to share tips to help you save some money in your next visit.